I guess the project started in middle of 2001. I was living in New York, and I had reconnected with Juan Choque, who I knew at the time as Jeff. That's how he went in college. And he was in New York a little bit more for different things. And I found out, for some reason I didn't know when we had played together in college, that he was an improviser. Specifically, he would perform Mozart concerti and the like, and instead of using the standard cadenzas that most folks use these days, he would improvise them, which is how Mozart would have done it. And so we chatted about that, and just on a lark said, well, we should do this together sometime. And we did, and it was fun. And at the time, I was playing every 6 weeks or so at the Knitting Factory down on Houston Street. And one of my last gigs down there, I called Jeff and I said, hey, we should do this as a duo and just improvise the whole night. So he reluctantly agreed, and we made some signs up called Tales of Johnny Car Crash, because Jeff's name in Spanish loosely translates as John Car Crash, so we thought that was funny, and we did the gig. And we had a blast. I mean, just the level of sort of sympathetic listening and playing, and just how powerful Jeff's touch is. I hope we really worked hard to get that across on the record. Just how he touches the piano is so phenomenal. And I was really inspired, and the audience thought it was great, really great. So we did it, and we said, oh, we should do this again. And we did, about 5 or 6 times in the next 8 or 10 years. A little bit in Boston, a little bit elsewhere. Just when both of us were in the same place and we could hook up a gig, we did. So after this happened, I moved back to Boston to study with Bob Brookmeyer, who I mentioned in the first video. And one of the people I got to work with was a pianist whose name was Camille Gentian. She was in the same program as me. And we worked together a lot. We were both writing for the same things and playing a lot together. And we also started playing duos. And again, very different relationship. She's a good pop singer and a really, really good pianist, an interesting improviser. And we played a lot of tunes, and we did a little bit of writing for each other and performing. And we got the opportunity, and I want to say the summer of '04, to record in this beautiful old church down in Duxbury. And some of it was my tune, some of it was improvised, some of it was other tunes. We were playing a lot of Joni Mitchell at the time. And there was some really nice stuff that came out of that. We said, oh, we should do something with this. And it put it away, and it sat in the can for a while. And finally now you're seeing that project plus the recording that Jeff and I did back in 2008, the last time we did a lot of gigging together. Duo playing is really interesting. It's something I started to do a lot when I was in Eastman. And it's really, really intimate. There's a tremendous amount of trust involved. Because especially as we are on this record, the forms are either not existent or making them up, or they're very open. You have to trust that if you're going to go for it, they're there with the net, and vice versa. And at the same time, it's tremendously fun because you just can focus entirely on this one person, this one specific set of listening. Conversations with both of these folks, I feel like I can pick up. We won't talk for a while, and then I can pick up the phone, and it's like, 5 minutes wasn't there, or 3 months wasn't there, or whatever it was. And it's the same thing musically. Jeff and I sat down for the session, we rehearsed the day before, we hadn't played it in months, and it wasn't anything like it we've done before, and it won't be like anything else we do, I hope. As Jeff and I were putting together our piece of this record, little did I know at the time, the third sort of leg of the stool of this album was starting to happen, that I was getting very into acro yoga. Now I'm an acro yoga teacher. And I was working with people and trying out all this funky stuff that the video right now is showing a little piece of, including us making mistakes, much like on the record. And for me, acro yoga is a physical movement expression of this kind of duo work, this trust and this exploration and this curiosity that Jeff and Camille and I were exploring with sound. And I wanted to include that in the project, so some of the tune names and a lot of the art really comes out of that physical exploration of duo work. I also want to mention that Jeff has done some acro yoga with me, but sadly we didn't get it on film. The record is done, but the project is just, I feel like, getting going. And I'm really excited for what's coming, and I hope that you will be a part of it. Oh, I have to do this. Jeff mentioned this in the video. That he and I have a friendly rivalry going back and forth about baseball. And that's another thing. We put a couple of the titles are very baseball specific, because the whole conversation during the recording session, when it wasn't about the takes we were doing, was very much about the Yankees-Red Sox game that was going on that night. And that year they got the better of us. But this year, despite this is being recorded the night after the Red Sox plunked A-Rod and proceeded to lose, but I'm feeling pretty good about it this year, Jeff. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about my Red Sox. So that'll somehow make its way into the project as we go forward, too.